Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, we're going to be looking at the pre-release promos. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Lost Thunder pre-releases are coming up fast, and we now know what the pre-release promos are going to be for the upcoming pre-releases. Now, they have been revealed over at pokebeach.com, and to be perfectly blunt, there is one of them that is way better than the others. Of course, whenever we have these pre-release promos, you go to a pre-release, you get one of 4 randomly inserted into your pre-release kit. And we've seen in the past that the pre-release promos are not always the most even, and that's a little bit sad. Now, the best pre-release promo we've probably had in the Sun and Moon era was Malamar. Having the Malamar from Forbidden Light be a pre-release promo was redonk and made us all very happy. I think we might have an even better one here, or at least about on the same level. Which one is it? Well, let's rank them, and then you can see which one's left standing at the end. Now, all of our translations here do come from the lovely David Hockman over at limitlesstcg.com. Although, to be honest, we can now see the wording. And that's pretty cool, to be perfectly honest with you. So, in at number 4, Tapu Lele. Gonna be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, not a huge fan of this Tapu Lele. What the main selling point of this Tapu Lele is that when you attach a Pokemon tool with Fairy Charm in its name to Tapu Lele, you may leave the active Pokemon confused, your opponent's active Pokemon. Now, the Fairy Charm cards essentially give you immunity from a particular type, and they are going to come in the following flavors: Dragon, Psychic, Fighting, or Grass. And if attached to a Fairy Pokemon, they give you immunity from that type of EX or GX Pokemon. So they're decent little tools, although they can be field blown off before your opponent attacks. And if you attach it to a Tapu Lele, automatic confusion. It's kind of cool. Nice to have automatic confusion. You can always retreat out of it. It's not amazing, but I think it could be fun in some rogue decks. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest, 2 and 3, I'm really struggling to settle them apart. But let's say at number 3, Raikou. I should mention all of these have exclusive artwork that's different from the set, and this artwork, as far as I'm aware at least, has yet to be revealed in Japan. So Raikou then, it's got a nice attack. It's only got 1 attack, but it's got a fairly nice attack. It does 30 damage, but if you've got any lightning energy in the Lost Zone, it does 120 damage for a lightning and a colorless. Now, I should mention we're getting Thunder Mountain in this set, which reduces the attack cost of lightning Pokemon by 1 lightning energy. We're getting Counter Gain, which if attached to a non-EX, non-GX, and you're behind on prizes, reduces the attack cost by 1 colorless energy. And we still got Counter Energy. Point of all this is, it's not difficult to pay this attack cost for a non-GX lightning Pokemon. As for getting the energy in the Lost Zone, we got 2 principal options coming in Lost Thunder. We have Lost Mixer, which lets you put 2 cards from your hand into the Lost Zone and then draw a card. And we've got Ampharos, whereby if you put 2 lightning energy from your hand into the Lost Zone, then you can leave your opponent's active Pokemon paralyzed. Not a bad little card. I feel like Raikou is very much only for some decks. So in some decks, it's really good, and in other decks, it's a bit like, meh, take it or leave it. It's fine, it's okay, it's not amazing, but if Ampharos ever gets good, Raikou is an amazing card. I like it, but I think it's a little bit too awkward. In at number 2, we've got Suicune, although I wouldn't be upset if you switched the 2 legendary beasts around. 70 damage, heal 30 for a water double colorless is meh. But it's the ability that makes me a little bit happy here. Once during your turn, if this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, you may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their bench. To put it another way, this ability is Repel. As an ability, force your opponent to switch their active. And this could be really, really nice. Maybe your opponent has only 1 bench Pokemon, and that's the one you want to attack. Maybe they've only got 1 non-GX Pokemon and it's in the active. So you use Suicune to force them to put up a GX and take 2 prizes. Maybe there's only one Pokemon that you cannot KO and it's in the active. So you use Suicune to force it so something else comes active and you win. The old Regice had this, though it sat on the bench and it was discard 2 cards from your hand, but it was very similar. And I love this. I used this to great effect back in the day. It's a decent little ability, and we've got a skateboard nowadays. So you can kind of use a skateboard here, attach it to Suicune, and then maybe after something gets KO'd, you can put Suicune in the active, force your opponent to switch, and then you can retreat Suicune with a skateboard. I like it as a fun little tech, just as I'm going to stick it active and force you to switch. Maybe you play a switch and then you retreat. It's a little bit clunky because it's got to be in the active to use it, but I can see reasons to use this. And certainly in a pre-release, this could be a lot of fun. But number 1, by an absolute, it's not even close country mile, is Giratina. Giratina is phenomenal. It is going to shake up the game, especially in Expanded. Now the attack, 2 Psychic, 1 Colorless, 130, put 4 damage counters on one of your Pokemon, it's fine. I mean, look, in Malamar decks, it's a decent attacker. It's certainly better than the promo Mewtwo, which some people have been playing, and in decks that have done well. But this Giratina's phenomenal. The ability says that if it's in the discard, you may put it onto your bench and put 1 damage counter on each of 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's redonk. It was featured in the deck that just won a 1,200-person tournament over in Japan. It was a Malamar deck, incidentally. But it was a spread deck, and it was kind of used for the ability. It's a wonderful, wonderful card. And in Standard, it's going to be good. But if you head on over to the Expanded format, it gets dumb. It gets over the top, ridiculous good. Because you can combine it with something like Victini. Now, Victini, which is also coming in this set, does 20 damage for each basic Pokemon that you've got in play. Now, obviously, you combine this with Skyfield, and then you can have 9 basic Pokemon in play, be hitting 180 for 2 energy on a basic Pokemon. And remember, you've got stuff like Blacksmith and Expanded to get the energy on Victini very easily. This looks good. So what does your opponent want to do? Well, they want to play a Field Blower so that they can get rid of your Skyfield. Great, you lose 3 bench Pokemon. So you discard 3 Giratina. And then not only do you get them back on the bench easily when you find your next Skyfield, but you put 6 damage counters on the board in the process. Zoroark with Skyfield has been great and Expanded with Execute, and this is pretty much the same thing. Now, don't get me wrong, no, it doesn't go to your hand, so you can't use it to trade, but you do a whole bunch of extra damage. I think Zoroark Giratina is better than Zoroark Execute. Also, if you're playing Zoroark Giratina against Zoroark Execute, then essentially, if you can bring 3 Giratinas from the discard onto the bench, you can KO 2 Execute for 2 prizes. And even those uses might pale in comparison to Mega Gardevoir, which is just over the top. Because you see, Mega Gardevoir has a great attack for 2 energy, which allows you to discard as many of your bench Pokemon as you like, and then you do an extra 10 damage for each one that you discard. You see where we're going with this, ladies and gentlemen? You see where we're going with this? It's just ridiculous, to be perfectly honest with you. It's over the top good. Because every turn you discard all 4 Giratina, then the next turn you bring them back off your bench, do 4 damage counters to one bench Pokemon, 4 to another, discard them, rinse and repeat. This Giratina is phenomenal. I am super high on this Giratina, and I've made no secret of the fact that I think it is going to be the best deck in the format. I think it's going to be absolutely over the top, ridiculously good. I think in Expanded, it might literally get to the point whereby you either play this or you lose to this. And even in Standard, where I didn't think it was quite as good, it just won a 1,200-person tournament in Japan. It is ridiculous how good Giratina is. And on the one hand, I am absolutely delighted that this is a pre-release promo. And on the other hand, I'm a little bit saddened that this is a pre-release promo because it's so much better than the rest that now when you go to a pre-release promo, it literally is just going to be crossing your fingers, hoping that you draw this. Hoping that this is your pre-release promo. And there is a part of me that's a little bit sad about that, but there isn't really much you can do about it, I'm afraid. Either way, it's still a great pre-release promo, so let's still be happy about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's over to you. Tell me how excited you are for these pre-release promos. Tell me how good you think they are. Tell me if you think that Giratina is as good as I think it is, or if I'm being just a little bit over-the-top enthusiastic, as I have been known to do. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule, ladies and gentlemen. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.